Welcome to the Two Tokens podcast. During these episodes, we will invite guests onto our show and discuss everything token related. You can expect to hear about token business models, the underlying technology stack, token governance, but also more mainstream topics such as NFTs. Does this sound interesting to you? Then make sure you subscribe and keep listening. And now, on to the episode.
So, the next one is, that's also yours, Digital Notary. No, it's ours. It's great because Digital Notary, you're the first one who actually took a working group and put it into production and people can start using it. So that's what Digital Notary is to you.
Well, not only me.
No, well, let's have Quintus at the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows Quintus. He made a great introduction here. Quintus, please sit. Quintus is the captain of the Digital Notary working group. And I've come to know him as very enthusiastic, has a great drive. He's also the share council founder and CEO. And give a big hand of applause to our dagvoorzitter, here at the table, Quintus.
And Quintus is not going to be on his own. Can Luis and Quintus, Misko. Sorry, I'm recovering from yesterday. Misko and Luis also come to the table. Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you for coming all the way from Luxembourg, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you take a train or did you fly? Or?
Unfortunately, I took a plane. I know it's not too sustainable in regard to the blockchain company I work for, but it's the most efficient still. So
yeah, good.
Would you guys like to? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you like to start with all three of you to give a short introduction for the people that are also listening into that?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for being here. My name is Louis. I'm in charge of adoption-related questions in Benelux for Nomadic Labs, and Nomadic Labs is essentially the lab research for Tezos.
Cool. Let's go.
Yeah, and my name is Misko. Thank you for inviting me. I'm a CEO at Thanks Network, and we help audiences, our customers, to connect to their audience online by using tokens. So why? Why do you use tokens and not other means? We see that the new generations, Y and Z, right? They are less susceptible to advertising, and they trust friends more than they do authority. And this allows us to really build new experiences, right? And it also ties into the community, which is also on our slide today. And we do this for big customers, United Nations, but also for individual creators, for example. So,
Wow.
And providing the infrastructure, right? So.
Yeah, great.
Quintus Willemsen, founder of Share Council, and Share Council is there for employee participation, making every employee co-owner of the business they work for, with a mission. And that mission is redividing capital wealth in our society. Because we believe that if every employee is co-owner of the business they work for, we have a better spread of ownership of the economy, hence a better spread of capital. Might be something to think of.
So that's also democratizing finance.
Very much so, and very much going in line with community building. It very much goes in line with financing companies overall. And we have a lot of experience making sure that companies have a wide variety in financing, because if someone starts with employee participation at our site, they might, for whatever reason, end up on an exchange to be publicly listed and actually funding over there.
And okay, so let's see where the common parts are between the three of you. So would you like to get started, Louis?
Yes. Well, if the question is related to adoption, what we do is to essentially create ecosystems with different layers where potential users will be able to connect with relevant players. So that might be a technical integrator, for example, for them to help in regard to development on chain, writing smart contracts, things like that. Then we have consulting companies. The goal is essentially the same, to support the growth and the development of the said company or the project order. And we are also connecting with VCs, incubator programs, as a way to have a complete ecosystem where someone can just deploy its solution in a very easy way on the Tezos ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think in our case, so we are like the middleware, right? So you provide really the base infrastructure, the base layer, and we make it really accessible for companies to quickly deploy their solutions, right? So that's what we actually do, and we started actually very flexible. So like we were like digital assets for everybody. We've been doing this for 2 years, but we also discovered that this might be a bit too broad. So now we're like focusing it down to loyalty programs, also focusing on things like NFT memberships, right? Paid loyalty, because we see, when building a community, it's okay to charge money, right? To fundraise. Actually, it leads to much more engaged participants, much more engaged people, more ownership in the communities. So I'm really excited about supporting those use cases and doing it. People can launch it in days instead of building it in weeks or months if they start from scratch. So we're like the middle layer.
And you as the top layer. So
I want to say then we probably end up at the end of it, and I think we do. We only use blockchain as a toolkit for the rest of our system, and we only have one product. You can become co-owner of the company you work for.
Okay. What can you share about the Digital Notary Group?
Yeah, because what can you share? Because it was awfully quiet in that working group for a year and a half. But now, in hindsight, it was all, hush hush because you guys were building, right?
Both, yes. I think it's interesting for everybody in the room to know where it more or less derived from. And Digital Notary Group was a get-together between N-Exchange and Share Council because we both ran into problems of setting up companies and setting up structures to co-own companies. For the Share Council, that was very much from the foundation point of view, setting up trust foundations, and from N-Exchange was very much from the basically the liability company point of view. And we just both ran into the bureaucracy, the Dutch bureaucracy of how to set up entities, and that was just. It was so obvious that needed to be solved in some kind of way, and to be completely standardized. And yeah, we did hush about it a little bit. There's basically two big initiatives that came out of it, and the beautiful one is on the N-Exchange side that within 24 hours you can now set up a limited liability company, which is already be able to be traded. And on Share Council, you can immediately now fully set up your trust foundation within no time, completely standardized, and start sharing the ownership of your company in a legally binded way.
Sharing, as in sharing on a bulletin board, not trading on an exchange.
Yeah, in our case, it's not an exchange. It's absolutely sharing. Someone can buy into to a company. And yes, can sell it to someone else, but there's no bid and leave offer. If you want to.
So your target audience of companies that want to involve their employees, family companies, and how have them participate, and it's so much easier if you can just you have a token now you can participate instead of having to go keep up a register in the stock and. Right.
Yes, basically we take everything. Yeah, we take everything out of hand of making an employee co-owner of your company, and our audience is small, medium-sized enterprises. There's two reasons for that. One is it's the biggest group of enterprises in Europe, and it's also the biggest group of employees in Europe. It's 137 million people working for small, medium-sized enterprises in Europe. Which are good for about 80% of the European economy. I do have to say we extended the small medium-sized enterprise group a little bit because we go up to 500 employees, and some Europe says at 250 employees you become too big for a small medium-sized enterprise.
So I'm curious. Do the people that get those tokens, the employees, do they perceive it as being, oh wow, we're now a shareholder and we're participating, or is it just a thank you and?
The vast majority that uses our platform in that, and mind you, right now we have about 3,500 users on our platform. We have about 350 million euros divided over 3,500 users now, employees, and they really become co-owner. And I do have to say, we advise the companies that get onto our platform on the way, how do you do that co-ownership? And how do you push as far as you can to really get that feeling of co-ownership from other people as well? I mean, we're in all, we're still a social enterprise. We want to do this to divide the capital better, and we want to do it because people can truly become co-owner. We know that companies use our platform because it delivers all kind of financial benefits for them, lower sick leave and higher return, better economic stability, all those kind of things. But our reason to do this, to make the platform so fantastically capable of doing this, our reason is that mission.
Is Nomadic Labs socially and inclined? Do you have those social projects like Share Council does?
We do have quite some social use cases. Well, tech for good, I would say. It's not something that is very much developed at the moment yet, because as the industry is slowly evolving and getting more and more diversified when it comes to the variety of projects that we have. Initially, it was more DeFi, then NFT came, but we have more and more projects where there is a willingness from the users to try and do something good by using blockchain. I think we came to a point in the industry where people really understand what are the benefits of blockchain for their infrastructure to run a business. And as such, as the understanding is increasing over time, more and more people are exploring different possibilities to do things like that. So we do work with companies that are involved in ESG related questions, tech for good, and other related matters.
So do you focus on the end value, or do you focus on developing the technology?
On our end, we are really focusing on developing the technology because that will be essentially the job of Nomadic Labs as a company. So we are pushing for recurring updates on the network. And then as we are public infrastructure, users are essentially free to do whatever they want on our blockchain. So if they want to do something that is very hardcore DeFi, they can do it. If they want to do something that is more, social ESG related, they can also do it, and we would gladly accompany them in doing so.
What infrastructure you use, Quintus?
We use Stellar.
Stellar. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesko, you do loyalty, which I think has a similar purpose as to giving others equity. Can you share some experience on like some use cases that we can learn from, where you say like, okay, this is really like how it should be applied?
Yes, so I think the future of loyalty programs, especially for brands as well, is to build partnership and ecosystems, right? So that's what we've seen is loyalty was very transactional up till now. So if you go to the Albert Heijn, a big retailer, grocery shop in the Netherlands, you get points, right? And you basically can exchange them back for money. That's it. So it's really a transactional relationship, and that only goes so far. I don't really get excited when I cash my points. I'm not. Maybe you do, but it's a kind of boring experience. But the next level, and actually, what the research also shows is that what the next generation of digital natives, but also crypto native people expect is cross-brand and cross-marketing experiences, right? And things like NFTs, maybe tokens in general, can provide this because the open nature of this technology allows it to be used in many places. So suddenly you can use a membership of 2 tokens to get access to the Web Summit or something like this, right? Which now, this is a ticketing use case, but you get my point. This cross relationship, now it gets much more excited. Now I might tell my friends, hey, I'm a member of 2 tokens, and it allows me a discount at the Web Summit. Now that's cool, right? So that's worth talking about. So these are the things we enable for our customers. And we have a couple of specific examples of how that looks, but maybe that's for another day.
Very, very cool.
Well, what is interesting, because remember year 1, we had 3 use cases. We had next-gen capital, electronic bill of lading, and we had the 2 token.
Exactly. And we have some experience at the table.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
Corona happened. That's what
Corona happened.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now?
I think Misko is going to help us, right?
Happy to, yeah, always.
So we should dust off the white paper that we created with Rabobank and the whole team of two.
Well,
He had a look at it. What is your first comment?
Yeah, great ambition. 2 years ago, this was really visionary. Happy that we are executing on it now. Excellent. I think there's a bright future for it.
So
Yeah.
in our board, in an executive board, we have some people that are lawyers. And the first thing they said, oh, before we do anything, make sure it's legit.
Which you obviously checked.
Yeah, of course. I checked Misco. So,
So
yeah.
I think we should go to the next slide, right?
Yeah, the next slide.
Because
You ready for it?
Yeah, I think when you talk about something, you actually have to bring it into practice, and that's what I love about you as
Eat
well.
your own dog food.
Eat your own dog food. So we have reintroduced the
Token.
token,
Yeah.
and we just heard from Erik that we can connect different uses of this token together. So can you share a little bit on your ideas about that?
So, to be fair, I was not in that working group, and Iris worked with you. So the whole team has been working on this, but we are kicking it off in January. But now we are launching the program, and you can basically register for the token now. And,
Yes,
and scan to participate.
exactly.
And what you do is you not only support us, you support the group, and everybody on the table has this little QR code. So take your iPhone and scan that QR code.
And before you do that, I think we should share what you get for it. You get access to all the events. You can vote with it. And you get the first digital notary BV.
Yeah.
So one person out of this group actually gets a clean BV.
Not just
limited
this group,
company.
also people from...
Anyone who has a token can be drawn at the end of this session. It can be drawn out of the thumb, at the head. And that person will get a digital notary BV. So, and I know that there are a lot
I know
of,
we have a notary here, so the notary can actually do the draw.
Well, that's a good point.
Good point,
No, but it's actually it's worth 2,500 euros.
Yeah.
Because you will not only get the BV, you get the whole environment with it, where you can experience the digital notary as how we developed it and how we have set it up. So I think that there are a lot of entrepreneurs here. By buying the token, you support the tokens group, but you also can possibly get your digital notary BV, of which we later on share more information of.
Yeah. And Misco, maybe you can shed some light on what we're going to be doing. We discussed it briefly this morning.
Yeah, so I think, this is the first step, and it also ties to membership, fundraising, things I talked about, community. So that's great. Things we kind of skipped, all these tokens, they need to be kept somewhere, right? So custody, I think that's one of the areas that needs attention. Mm-hmm. Like for the end user experience, it's still something that's quite rough. So I'm not sure where your users keep their tokens. But it's easy to lose. It's you have to pay gas fees, and I think that's the exciting thing we will be solving for tokens as well as an organization. Is that we will provide smart contract wallets, and it's like easy recovery, even easy to keep your membership, show it to others, show off your NFT. I think that's really the end user experience is where I'm excited about.
Wow.
Okay, we need to wrap up.
You always say that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are we having a party or something?
No, we want to keep the speed into it because we have not only 3 round tables for invoice token, but we also have 4 round tables for the digital notary, where we hopefully get even more feedback, more input for the products, so we can improve them and we can make them better. What would you like to?
Famous last words.
Hope to get out of the round table session of the digital notary today?
Yeah, what I hope to get out of digital notary as a whole is that basically it becomes the new norm, that you can indeed within 24 hours have your own limited liability company, which if you want to is even publicly traded, and that this kind of movement becomes available for everybody. not only for the rich and famous, not only for those who studied deeply to understand how this all works and how the financial world is structured, but anybody interested in really being able to build a company, to share it with other people and get it up and running, who just has a good idea and actually can take off. And I think that democratizes way more, not only finance by itself, but way more the economy, hence our society. And I hope that everybody who thinks about digital notary today can somewhat try in their mind to find a way to steer in this direction.
Okay, thank you. Jesko, what's
Wow,
your...
that's hard to top. So, I'm really looking for adoption as well, right? So please scan the QR code and get signed up. So
We second that, huh?
wonder how many people do. So, that's interesting, like a field test for me as well. I'm also interested in like the legal aspects of it, right? We're a startup, move very quickly, but it also needs to be done properly, right? So happy to connect about that.
Louis?
Well, and I guess I would double down on what you just said, adoption. If you want to explore some infrastructure to build your solution, I'll be glad to assist you. And I can also introduce you to some of the solutions that we have on Tezos that could actually be an interesting ad hoc piece of technology for the different working groups that you will be tackling today.
This sounds great. We should spend some time. Yeah.
Gladly.
Well,
Super
great.
happy again with this session.
You are, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
So thank you guys for being here. I think we're now going to have a short break and then start with the roundtables.
I think so. Thank you.
And don't forget to scan the QR code, please. Thank you.
That was it for today's podcast. Thank you for listening in and please subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming episodes. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find our contact details at www.twotokens.org.